दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा नेशनल लेवल का एक्सटॉर्शन रैकेट है। कंपनियों से हफ्ता लेने का तरीका है, कंपनियों से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स का शेयर लेने का तरीका है।
ये तो मोदी ने इलेक्ट्रॉन बॉन्ड बनाया था, इसके कारण आज आप ढूंढ पा रहे हो कि पैसा बॉन्ड किसने लिया, कहाँ दिया, कैसे।
In 2014, Delhi High Court found BJP and Congress, both the big parties, were involved in taking the funds from the subsidiary of London-based multinational Vedanta.
If you watch television coverage on counting day on India's main news channels, its national channels, you'd have seen how every anchor, every analyst said, how can the Congress expect to win elections when Rahul doesn't even campaign for his own candidates?
Today, both the Congress and BJP are ready to fight in ring. So when BJP amended the act, which was not even in existence, why the whole opposition was quiet and gave his silent support to them. This is because the Congress was also involved in that scam. Now they are opposing just because they are not involved this time. 9th of November 2022, ED called him for questioning on liquor case. Well, he was in the favor of the Kejriwal. On 10th of November 2022, he got arrested. 5 days after his arrest, his company donated 5 crore to BJP using electoral bond. He imprisoned for 6 months where he gave 9 different statements in favor of the Kejriwal. On 25th of April 2023, after his release, he gave the statement in against of Kejriwal. And a month after, in May, ED granted him bail. And in next June, he also became the approver of the ED. After 6 months, his company donated more than 25 crore to BJP. The Parakal Prabhakar, husband of the Nirmala Sitharaman, known political economist, called it as a scam. History is not something to forget. If someone does, get ready for the consequences. This video is not about the Congress versus BJP, but it is about the country and the constitution. India got independence in 1947, upholds its first Lok Sabha election in 1951. The biggest problem which was haunting Nehru during that period was the delay in election, as he was concerned about the popularity of Indian National Congress. The government which was working during that period was not elected by the people, so the fear of revolt from public was always there in the mind of Nehru. Political funding started here. India adopted a socialist policy, means all the responsibility lies on the shoulder of government. Now see, Government of India needs money for the promotion of Indian National Congress in election. It does want a great deal from companies for the fulfillment of their promised paper policy. And what company want was license permit from the Government of India and the land acquisition favor. This forces company to donate in political party. This is simply a birth of quid pro quo, means something for something. The main funders of that period were Tata, Birla, Thakur and others. This was all happening under the table, but grasped attention when one of the shareholder of Tata itself filed a case against funding, stating that was their profit, why company is giving it to political party. Against which company responded clearly and mentioned about the favor he get from the Congress party because of the funding.
Do you think that would help the country more? Would it raise the standard of living anymore? Yes, it will. How? Undoubtedly. I mean, who cares really for this election business? People want food, people want their material needs to be satisfied.
With the time needs of the government and the demands of the company, both got a great push. To work hand in hand, Income Tax Act of 1961 was introduced to manage to regulate the taxes which was prevailing in India, along with the voices raised to give some relief to donors of political party, as they were also doing a job of public welfare. Not then but later, Section 13A, 80GGB, 80GGC were added to give 100% of relief on tax if paid to political party. Please remember, for worship places, this limit is 50%. Indian National Congress was the largest party, along with some small parties like RSS, CPI, Bharatiya Janasangh, Swatantra, etc. But their funding was exceptionally low, as they are not in power, means can't provide any type of favor to companies. Gradually, Swatantra overcome this problem because ideology of Swatantra Party was capitalism and the ideology of Indian National Congress was socialism. Being socialist, your main concern is common people, and providing them the best option is your duty, apart from the profit or loss you make in that option. But Swatantra, being capitalist, supported the businesses, which helped him a lot in the generation of the funds in his favor, which even causes the great setback to Indira Gandhi, the Indira Gandhi was not able to control the funding of the Swatantra Party. So that in 1969, to put a complete ban on the political funding, she deleted the Section 293 of the Companies Act of 1956. This action pushed up a illegal funding, as this deletion put the company and parties both in the turmoil. This illegal funding within the country is one problem, and from outside is becoming the second, as the foreign funding also started. In 1976, the government of Indira Gandhi introduced the FCR in 1976, that is the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, where the foreign contribution is only limited to NGOs. No political party, MP, electoral candidate, judges, and even cartoonists were allowed to take foreign help. As this was a period of great emergency, so you can easily imagine to suppress opposition is also lies in the center. This illegal funding was increasing heavily from the tenure of Indira Gandhi to Rajiv Gandhi. The black money or the untaxed cash money came into circulation. To limit this in 1985, Rajiv Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, again looked towards the Companies Act, where he removed the total ban on funding and allowed 5% of donation of the average profit of last 3 years for private companies. Later in 2013, this limit was increased to 7.5%. And the amount given to political parties should have a column about the party and the money donated in the annual financial report of the corporate, because of which the problem was raised for donors, because everything was present in the financial report, as everything was transparent. Like if the receiver's party lost the election and the opposition won, so there is a chance of harassment by the ruling party with the company, and their business came into risk. So to tackle this problem, Tata Group of Company gave birth to Electoral Trust, where the several companies came together and donate their money to Electoral Trust, and this trust is responsible to give the money to the political parties, and because of which the safe zone is created around the companies, and shareholders were also not able to get the information about the amount and the political party. They only know about the amount given to the trust. This was not sufficient to satisfy the needs of the political party. As you can say that as the population is rising, the needs is rising. Okay, so the spending is also rising. So they started taking the help of the criminals to make a collection of the money. Gradually, criminals itself got overwhelmed and entered into the direct politics. From here, we see the rise of Dadagiri type of politics. Later, Supreme Court, because of the interference of ADRs, that is Association of Democratic Reforms, basically a NGO, stated under Article 19(1)(a), right to know is the fundamental right of the citizen. Thereby, citizens should be informed about the criminal charges, assets, family wealth, private projects of the person who is going to represent them. This disclosement started from the 2003. Still, 40% of the MPs have criminal charges on them. Apart from this, nothing was proved worthy to control the black money. So in the same year of 2003, Representation of People Act was amended, which was introduced earlier in 1951 to define the process, procedure, status of political parties, etc. Amended this time to set the limit of cash funding to 20,000. If paid more than that or equal to that, this person should give their detailed information about their PAN card, name, etc. under Section 29C of the Representation of People's Act to submit in the annual report to the political parties, and then they have to submit it to the ECI. Means first the information given to the political party's annual report, and then political parties will be responsible to give those information to the ECI, that is the Election Commission of India. But this was also not of that worth to curb the black money, as the payment of like 18,000, 19,500, 19,025, etc. was supposed to be given, and can be even without revealing anything to anyone. And in some cases, this goes to another level, like funder or donor donated 1 crore black money to political party, and they cut the slip of less than 20,000, like 19,000, 19,700, 18,650, etc. And no one can catch them, as the auditing was done by their own member. And many of the time, if the donation came direct to any member of the party, half of the amount they donated to the party and half may be to their personal foreign account or the Swiss, etc. Gradually, it was proving any step taken to curb black money was putting a new challenge. Going one step ahead, what the government of India did, he repealed the FCR in 1976. and introduced new FCRA of 2010, which later will impose a challenge for government only. In 2013, ADR filed PIL against Congress and BJP of taking foreign funding. In 2014, Delhi High Court found BJP and Congress, both the big parties, were involved in taking the funds from the subsidiary of London-based multinational Vedanta, that is Sterlite Industries Limited and Sesha Goa Limited. Funding was given from the Electoral Trust, where these subsidiary of parent Vedanta donated their money. This was a clear violation of FCRA, and even High Court ordered the Government and Election Commission of India to act against them. The judgment was handed down 10 days before the India holds a general election, in which the ruling party Congress and opposition BJP will go head to head in a context where corruption is one of the voters' top concerns. To wipe off the matter, Congress and BJP both supported each other, and NDA-led government in its financial bill of 2016 amended the FCRA of 2010. However, the 2016 amendment, which changed the FCRA to redefine foreign companies as Indian if their ownership is an foreign entity, was within the foreign investment limits prescribed by the government for that sector. See, this is the point. Was made retrospective only from 2010, which is when the latest version of FCRA was introduced. This meant that donations received from companies prior to 2010 were not covered by the retrospective amendment. Ironically, the impugned Vedanta donation itself was from before 2010. Therefore, the amendments need to be done in the FCRA 1976, but that was not even in existence. Like, to hook off all the charges, ruling and opposition came together and amended the act, which was not even in existence. Also was done first time in the history of India. Electoral bond scheme was introduced in 2017 and implemented in 2018. Basically, it's a type of form. Physically, it's hard to differentiate between the bonds. It is basically an authorized paper available in worth of rupees 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh and 1 crore. And the same amount will be deducted from the account. In the absence of the account, buyer has to give his KYC. Purchase of electoral bond can only be made in a specific period. Documented period is of 4 times a year, each time for 10 days. Extra 15 or 13 days window can be made available if there is a Lok Sabha election in that year. And within the 15 days of the purchase of the bonds, they should be redeemed. And by chance they got missed, then the bond will be called as an expired bond and their money goes to the PM Care Fund. Electoral bonds are payable to the bearer on demands and are interest free. Bonds can be issued from the authorized branch of SBI, and donations can be made only to those who had secured at least 1% of the votes polled in the last general election. This is under Section 29A of the RPA Act of 1951. Bonds can only be purchased digitally or through checks. Encashment can be made through an authorized bank account of the political party, and parties must disclose their bank account with the Election Commission of India. So the question here is, everything was looking so simple. Then why voices raised against it? On 30th May 2017, just 2 days before the introduction of the electoral bond scheme in Finance Bill of 2017, RBI presented the varieties of things. First, as RBI has a sole authority of issuing a currency in India, but these electoral bonds were a subject of SBI. These electoral bonds may in future become a kind of a currency if go on to multiple hands, and RBI will have no authority and control over it. And there is no cap on generation of the money during this period of the 15 days. To allow SBI to issue bonds, amendment was needed in Section 31 of the RBI Act of 1934. But by this amendment, other authorities may also in future get chance to issue different kind of currency. Major concern of RBI was about the transparency. Who is the donor, who is the receiver, how much of the amount is donated. These are the pillar of the transparency, and this is the only thing which is hidden from the public. But after putting all these things in front of the Finance Ministry, the government clearly denies by saying RBI didn't understand what is the scheme about. Like one of the largest constitutional body of India, well qualified people and analysis didn't even understand the scheme. This was what conveyed by the Finance Ministry of India. Election Commission of India also raises his concerns, and his concerns were giving direct challenge to the statements of the government using which the scheme was introduced. There were several acts which were amended to implement the scheme. Income Tax Act, Companies Act, RBI Act, Representation of People Act, IT Act. Some amendments read carefully were very doubtful. Section 29C of the Representation of People's Act have a clause 3 about the disclosement of the amount given to parties to Election Commission of India. But electoral bonds were put aside from this, means the disclosement need not to be done in the case of the electoral bonds. To donate money, you need money. Normal middle class person can't donate more than the profit he earns. Then why the limit of 7.5% was removed? The cap is fully removed. Now the company can donate with their free hand. This raises a concern over the rise of the shell companies, through which the black money can easily be made usable in the funding for the political parties. Amendment was made in Section 182 of the Companies Act, and even companies need not declare their political contribution in their profit and loss statement. They just have to mention the total money and nothing about the political party and their name. Section 13A of the income tax was amended to reduce the limit of 20,000 to 2,000 cash donation. But for the implementation, one more amendment was needed to be done in the Representation of People's Act in Section 29, but was absent, means the limit was still 20,000. Just look at the simple calculation. Scheme has a provision about the disclosement of the data of the person who purchased electoral bond if found involved in any criminal activity. Like any criminal, the criminal activity is not defined. Therefore, the unique secret number was provided on electoral bond to track down the person. So it's simple to say SBI know who is the donor, SBI also know who is the receiver. Using the unique number, he can easily manage to track information out. And SBI is a public sector bank, means government can ask for the details of the donors based on any criminal charge. Means government know how much the amount goes to whom. Scheme was bought that the transparency made people vulnerable to harassment by the party whom they have not donated. But in the case of the electoral bond, only the opposition and the public was knowing nothing, and everything was open to ruling party. How anyone can say now the ruling party not harass the donors of the different party? From the date of the implementation of the scheme, parties, individuals, NGOs, etc. raises their voice against the scheme. Even the Parakal Prabhakar, husband of the Nirmala Sitharaman, known political economist, called it as a scam. In 2023, just before the election of the Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Telangana and some of the states of the eastern part of the country, illegal sale of bonds is witnessed. There is no provision for the extra opening of window for the state elections. Eye-opening thing was the orders were given directly from the PMO office. Alone in March, around 222 crores of bonds were purchased. Almost 201 crore of bonds was given to the BJP.
Sir, I also want to ask you about the electoral bonds data that has been published. Do you think this has caused some embarrassment to your party, a setback?
कि 2014 के पहले जितने चुनाव हुए, चुनाव में खर्चा तो हुआ ही होगा ना, बिना खर्चा नहीं। कौन एजेंसी है जो मैं बता पाए कि पैसा कहाँ से आया था, कहाँ गया और किसने खर्च किया, है क्या? ये तो मोदी ने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बॉन्ड बनाया था, इसके कारण आज आप ढूंढ पा रहे हो कि पैसा बॉन्ड किसने लिया, कहाँ दिया, कैसे, वरना तो पहले तो
Because of the scheme, people are able to know about the donors, receivers and the amount donated. This argument should not be accepted to hide the scam.
Now, why can't the Congress win any big election? Mainstream media will tell you it's because Rahul Gandhi is a failed leader. He cannot win votes for the Congress. He's so unpopular that he might as well end up losing votes for the Congress. And Rahul Gandhi is himself like that, absent every time he is needed. If you watch television coverage on counting day on India's main news channels, its national channels, you'd have seen how every anchor, every analyst said, how can the Congress expect to win elections when Rahul doesn't even campaign for his own candidates? He was busy with his Bharat Jodo Yatra reasons. 3 M's, media, misinformation and money power, and there are 2 P's, political ideology and polarization. When was the last time you saw any positive or even neutral coverage of Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party in mainstream media? Rahul is walking from Kanyakumari at the southernmost tip of India to Srinagar, a journey of 3,750 kilometers on foot. Have you seen any detailed coverage of this on any TV channel? It only hits the headlines when Rahul says something which mainstream anchors can then spin into a controversy and then attack him.
Today, both the Congress and BJP are ready to fight in ring. So when BJP amended the act which was not even in existence, why the whole opposition was quiet and gave his silent support to them. This is because the Congress was also involved in that scam. Now they are opposing just because they are not involved this time.
उन्होंने बोला कि हमने एप्लीकेशन फाइल करी है कि ये नंबर ना डिस्क्लोज किया जाए और हमको सुना जाए. उस पर चीफ जस्टिस ने बोला कि नहीं, तुम्हारी एप्लीकेशन रिकॉर्ड पर नहीं है. और ये सब लोगों को जब हमने इंटरिम ऑर्डर पास किया था तो ये सबको नोटिस पर डाल दिया था जब 2019 में इंटरिम ऑर्डर पास किया था कि भाई ये डिटेल्स, डोनर डिटेल्स सब डिस्क्लोज करने होंगे.
Senior advocate of ADR Prashant Bhushan said the bonds promote corruption as they are opaque and anonymous. On 15th of Feb, Supreme Court struck down the electoral bond. Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud said that changes made in the laws to implement the scheme was unconstitutional. And Supreme Court directed the SBI to release the data of the scheme, like name of the donors, receivers, amount they received or the data when they received the amount, to the Election Commission of the India.
एक तरफ खाई, बीच में SBI जवाब दे तो प्रॉब्लम, ना दे तो प्रॉब्लम. अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट का मामला जो है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने साफ कह दिया है, जो आपको समय दिया था आपको उस पर जवाब देना होगा. यानी इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स किन्होंने दिए, कितने पैसे दिए और किसके लिए दिए, ये बताना होगा. बस
Just to misguide the public, ministers mislead them playing with the data game. Completely in 30 phases the bonds were released, but ministers hide their true data by putting the data of less or more phases.
देश में हमारे 303 सांसद है, हमें 6000 करोड़ के बॉन्ड मिले हैं और 242 सांसद जिन पार्टियों का है, इसको 14000 करोड़ के बॉन्ड निकले. क्या शोर शराबा कर रहे हो भाई?
As per the data released, total donation is of 16,492 crore from 1 March 2018 to Jan 2024. Using the electoral bonds, BJP got the highest one. BJP stands on 8,252 crores, the largest one. Joining Congress on 1,952 crore, TMC got the 1,705 crore. BRS receives 1,408 crore. BJD applauded with 1,020 crore and DMK stands at 677 crores. Through electoral trust from 2018 to 2023, BJP received 1,245 crores. Congress got 135 crores. From personal sources, BJP received the 3,337 crores. Congress got the 535 crores. If you go through the total of these parties, BJP stands at the 12,800 and Congress at 2,622, means 12,800 for the BJP and 2,622 crore for the Congress between the 2018 to 2024. When the data was released totally, the trend was showing something very different. Like, these are the names of the companies. You can go and check on my Telegram channel. Once you go through the data, you will find the loss-making company donating thousands of crore. So it's a genuine question, how the loss-making company was donating the thousands of crore. Means loss-making company is not earning the profit even. So he is giving the donation from his pocket. This is the question. Secondly, some are donating before the raid and some are donating after the project be given to them. Some are donating after arrest and some are increasing their donation after release. The biggest opposition party was just wrapped up at 2,600 crores. Their main account was seized, facing penalty of approx 1,700 crore for the case which was of decades ago. I'm not saying that the decision is wrong. I'm just concerned about the timing of all the steps taken by the government. Chief Minister of the Jharkhand arrested. Chief Minister of the New Delhi arrested. Sharath Chandra Reddy, Managing Director of Aurobindo Pharma. On 9th of November 2022, ED called him for questioning on liquor case. Well, he was in the favor of the Kejriwal. On 10th of November 2022, he got arrested. 5 days after his arrest, his company donated 5 crore to BJP using electoral bond. He imprisoned for 6 months where he gave 9 different statements in favor of the Kejriwal. On 25th of April 2023, after his release, he gave the statement in against of Kejriwal. And a month after, in May, ED granted him bail. And in next June, he also became the approver of the ED. After 6 months, his company donated more than 25 crore to BJP. Out of the total 52 crore of donation, 34 crore goes to BJP, 15 crore to BRS and 2.5 crore to TDP. Voice of the Wangshu went unheard. Media forgets the opposition. How the fair election will survive? Praise the good deeds and please be vocal for the misleads. Thank you.